What's up, everybody? Time to talk about the Ghost Rider. Finally here. Halloween's coming. Well, he's not quite here. He'll be here soon. But we got the kit information. We talk about that direct from the live stream as we got it. We've got some questions about the kit and exactly how it works. There's going to be some items there that aren't super clear as far as certain dynamics with interaction in the team and speed bar manipulation, you know, things along those lines. I don't want to spoil it, but there's a potential for a lot of speed bar manipulation and getting this supernatural team to go pretty well in front of some others. So I think this could be a great team, depending how that works. We got some questions in to the folks at Fox Next about it, and we'll let you know what the answers are. But let's talk about the kit. And before we get there, gotta mention this again because we're about at the 2-month mark, and it feels like we should already be past this point. But if you want $50, there's a link in the description below. Click that link. When you're there, you'll see a YouTube video by me about Fear the Darkness. It's a compilation. Click the like button. We got to get the likes to 500. As soon as that hits 500, I will do the giveaway. In order to enroll in said giveaway, comment below. Originally, it was who is at fault for the Spider-Man debacle. At this point, it's kind of like just write Disney or Sony. Just enter the contest so that you can be enrolled. So do that. And you'll be enrolled. As soon as we get 500 likes, money is going out. So I really want to just get rid of that thing and start the next giveaway. Unfortunately, I have to kind of go through the protocols. So anyway, let's look at Ghost Rider, see what kind of hell he's going to bring us.
Bring me WolverThor!
So it's bleeds and bleeds. The ultimate's interesting. I'm curious to know if that alt is you apply the defense down before you attack. That would be sweet. When I'm looking at it, it's kind of like it's hit, it damage for basic and special, just damage and then bleeds. But both for 2 turns, which is nice. But again, we don't know T4's your energy, how often. We don't know his stats, so all these caveats, asterisks that are sitting there. The ultimate's fine. I mean, it's the offense down, defense down is cool. I kind of wish it would hit people next to him, you know, but I guess it's a penance stare. If you're staring at one person, that doesn't make sense to be adjacent. All right, and so then it's about this, the gaining, that if charged, you drain. And then it's the only way to get charged for a non-summoned ally death. So basically, anytime somebody dies, you get a charge. And so as people die, he gains charges. So I'm guessing this ultimate is going to be like a second or third turn ability, which is what you want it to be because you don't want to use it until other people are dead, which shouldn't happen immediately. So if MSF did this right, people will die, which would be maybe first turn, but pretty much second and third turn. He uses this 3rd/4th turn. Gets health back. Him dying, granting energy is interesting. I'd love if there was like on Doctor Strange's alt now, it said something like gain additional energy if, you know, Ghost Rider dies on top of the 2, so he gains like 4 or 5 energy. That'd be sick. Where is that speed bar gain at again? That was yeah, it's in the passive. Let's see. Worth putting him with scientific friend. It's not a terrible idea, honestly, Hotcher. I mean, the only reason I'd say no is because... Oh, wait. Yeah, I mean, she could help speed up the supernatural, but... I don't know. I mean, it's not a bad idea, but I think you're going to have so many negative effects you don't need her, and it would pull away from aim. I know you said ignore it, but it's a good question anyway. It's not a bad thought. Generate 3 ability energy for self. On non-summoned ally death, attack the enemy that killed the target for damage and... 1 charge, you max 5, and you get energy for self. I'm assuming though, you know, there's got to be some focus gain here too. Let me see something. I mean, if you think about it too, like Scarlet Witch or Mordo might gain some type of. Let's just look at them for a second. I'm looking for. All right, so let's just look at Mordo first. All right, so he doesn't really have anything there. So unless he gets a rework, he's not gaining any given any focus. I could see Scarlet Witch potentially giving, if they rework her slightly. Yeah, and that's just spreading negative effects. I also want to know if, you know what, that's a good question. So when she gives the second, when she uses her alt, and that gives another negative effect, does that trigger Ghost Rider's passive? And if so, how many times? So let's see, and then obviously Doctor Strange. Let's look at Doctor Strange for a second. And he's, I don't know, I could see him do that too. Yeah, so I could see them reworking soon-to-be supernaturals, and then just to be able to increase some focus. On death, grant 2 ability energy to all supernatural allies. All right, that's pretty easy. Oh, he's got it. It's at the bottom. I totally missed it. Gain focus. Supernatural allies gain focus. So I'm guessing that could be 20 to 30, 40% would be my hope. So basically that every flip, everything is always going to hit. This could be pretty sick. Like, my only worry about this team, though, is, like, where's the damage come from? I mean, I guess Elsa, you know, it's going to be Elsa Bloodstone. I bet she hits like a truck. Because there's no taunters. So everybody's just exposed. Yeah, you're going to have to be able to... This is going to be interesting. So hopefully, I'd love for Ghost Rider's speed to be super high. So he goes first. He puts multiple negative effects on people, which allow everyone else's speed bar to go or increase. Which would make me think that every negative effect that you put on, including first and second turn, increases that speed bar, which allows everybody else to go. And then you just start spreading like crazy, and they just go nonstop, and you almost don't get a turn. That would be dope. I'd love that. I mean, and you'd think Ghost Rider's fast. I mean, he rides a motorcycle, right? You stunt man. I mean, he's not like ninja fast, but I think it would make sense. I think that's the key for this team. Is Ghost Rider speed, and is that passive? Specifically, this one right here. That is huge. So if he can go early, for a second, let's access some of the WolverThor spreadsheets. If he can go, like, I'd say in like this range here, I think that makes the team pretty sick. And speed everybody up. And where's Mordo's pretty high up. Then Mordo goes, and he's fast. He's decently fast. You'll either use his special or his alt, and either way you're getting a bunch more negative effects, more speed bar. So after Mordo goes, I don't remember who's next. Is it Scarlet Witch or then Scarlet Witch goes. At that point you're probably going to use her alt, which gives more negative effects, so more speed bar. And at that point I'm guessing, depending on how much speed bar he gives, someone on the other team's probably gonna go. Where's our boy Strange? Is he this slow? Damn, Strange is slow. What we're talking about is this, which I think is probably the most important aspect of this kit, is this speed bar. When a negative effect is applied to an enemy, increase speed bar of self and all supernatural allies. The question is there's multiple questions in my mind. Does it count? Does each negative effect count? It says a negative effect, when a negative effect. It doesn't say when each negative effect, so it could just be when one happens. Does that increase everyone's speed bar? So my question is for Fox next. So on Doctor Strange special, when he flips those effects to negatives, does that trigger Ghost Rider's passives for speed bar? If so, does it count for each negative effect? And Hotcher, Hotcher's asking, for those who can't see chat, if Scarlet Witch's alt, he's thinking that it won't count as applying a debuff. That's the question I want to ask. You know, one of the other questions that I've got is for this ultimate right here. It talks about attack the primary target for piercing and apply offense up and defense down. I assume that applies it after the fact, but, you know, now that got T4s into like a monstrosity, that you can apply offense up before the turn. I can kind of see it happening. And Stoner's asking what Elsa's kit's gonna look like. Just so you guys know, so you can, you know, not take this for gospel, but I could see the kit being very damage intensive, because if you think about this team, Scarlet Witch doesn't hit very hard. Mordo doesn't really hit very hard. Doctor Strange doesn't really hit very hard. Ghost Rider could maybe hit decently, but that's just one person. So and you've got no tank. There's nobody on this team that can tank. So they've got to go fast, and somebody's got to do damage. So I think between like maybe Ghost Rider and Elsa Bloodstone, they're doing the damage, and the other ones are just spreading the negative effects and increasing the speed bar. Because, you know, and then you get the slows out there potentially. I mean, I could see some good things with this team as kind of a just pain in the butt to beat. For War, like, would I want to keep them on offense or defense? That's tough to say. So if you're against an aim team with security, when you apply debuffs, she throws them right back. Would this passive trigger as you apply them, or would security's passive throw it? That's interesting. All right. You think they'll be better than the Brotherhood Publican? You think this Supernatural will be? Yeah, definitely a low sustainability trait. Like, I see this team as kind of obviously a blitz team, but I'm thinking War, and the guy on the video said Arena, but then he said like it won't be basically Phoenix or Ultron, so kind of like that's not really Arena then. I mean, you could say anybody's Arena. I'm not hating on the guy. The guy clearly knows what he's talking about. I'm just confused. There's got to be something to his message he's saying he thinks can work in Arena, but don't necessarily think they're going to be an Arena team. So it's kind of a caveat to get out of it. But I could, depending what the speed bar thing does, I could see them playing, you know, maybe a 3-team part role if it's like Ultron, Phoenix, and these 3, or at least, you know, Ghost Rider. I don't know who the other 2 is. I guess Mordo and maybe Scarlet. I don't know. Somebody who can like help with the negative effects. I think the gain max health is just one of those, similar to, who is it? I think it's Thing, maybe. You know, those passive that say, you know, increase max health by 20%. I think that's it. It's just, if that's all. Same thing with the focus. I think it's just going to increase those stats for your team just as soon as you get to the match. So they kept this really generic. I mean, if you look at it, it's like damage bleeds for two bleeds for 2 turns. I like that a lot. I'm sure that's a T4 ability to get there. And it also attacks all... I mean, this is Pyro. This is Pyro special without the clearing of positive effects. And then the ultimate, you want to use this on your 3rd or 4th turn because if you get the charges which come from your folks on the team, when they die, he gets those charges. And then every time he uses it, it loses a charge. So you want to make sure you save this thing until people are dead, so that and then as they're dead, you assume he's a little low, and then so he's going to be gaining health back, and then, you know, granting some energy, and maybe Strange is reviving people. I could see this kind of being really cool and fun. Hatcher, I could totally see that. Hatcher asked if I could see if Elsa could do some high piercing damage increase with debuffs and bleeds. I think that's exactly, they should do that, because there is not. I think she'll get bonus attacks similar to Aim Assaulter. If there's a negative, except for she won't need the negative effect on her. It'll just be if there's a negative effect on the enemy, she'll get bonus attacks. If they do that, I think she could be really, really good. Plus like additional damage or piercing based on negative effects. So stack that up and just make her almost like a Carnage who doesn't clear the buffs. I hate that aspect of Carnage where his special just, you know, if you hit it, just nukes all the buff or the debuffs. Just, maybe she can just hit harder based on all of them that are there and leave them in place. When he dies, he gives ability energy to supernatural allies. So what my hope is somehow Strange. You know what would be dope? Oh man, they should have made it on death. Grant 2 ability energy to all supernatural allies. Give Doctor Strange 3 death proofs, and then somehow in Doctor Strange's ultimate, they change that to if Ghost Rider dies, gain an additional 2 ability energy, and when basically when they use that, it just doesn't revive somebody. It revives everybody. So if he gets to pull that off, it's like everybody comes back. Because I mean, think about that for a second. Like, his ultimate is about rewinding time, but we only rewind time for the one person. So it's like in the movie when he does the apple, and he's just focused on the apple, and he's just like turning it back and forth. Here it's like, no, I'm just bringing everybody back. Like, all you guys are coming back. That would be sick. Yeah. I mean, but again, this is all me speculating on if they're gonna adjust Strange a little bit. I don't know if they're gonna do that. I hope they do, because like you were saying, like the energy generation could be a problem, because the only energy that goes out is the 2 when Ghost Rider dies. So if he's dead and he just gives 2 to Strange, like you're saying, like, okay, well, and then who's Strange gonna revive? What if he doesn't revive, you know, somebody else? I don't know. He revives Scarlet Witch. It's like, well, okay, thanks. Depending on how good this team is too, Scarlet Witch's special T4s, where she always gives the defense up, that could be big too, which would be really nice. The non-summoned is the key part of that, and it's smart on their part because, I mean, Ghost Rider would just get non-stop energy, so they obviously did some QC there. So these are the questions right now. We're gonna send them to Fox next, ask them what's up with Ghost Rider. So concerning Ghost Rider passive, does each negative effect trigger the passive, or does the passive trigger only once when a negative effect is applied? The follow-up to that is, on Doctor Strange special, when he flips those effects to negative, does that trigger Ghost Rider's passive for speed bar? If so, then does it count for each effect similar to 1A? 1C, same question as 1B, but for Scarlet Witch's ult. On Ghost Rider's ult, does it apply defense down before the attack? That's pretty simple, nothing crazy there, just does it or not. When fighting aim security, does the landing of the debuff activate the Ghost Rider pass for speed bar, or does the effect need to stay put? I think that could kind of, you know, be the case for anybody that, you know, might have something that applies for a set. Though I can't really think of one that besides security that's like that. There's not quick, flip backs. You'd think about Psylocke, but that actually sits there until she takes her turn, so that'll activate it. So I'm gonna throw those questions at him unless someone puts something in the chat real quick that I can add. But yeah, I mean, this is it's an interesting kit. Again, it's damage bleeds, Hell Cycle / Pyro special without clearing which won't clear positive buffs, so it's the same thing. The ultimate, hopefully that's like a, you know, it hits as hard as Ultron's. That'd be, not that he deserves to hit as hard as Ultron, but, you know, something, maybe not that strong, but give me something good, because this damage is, or this team doesn't have a lot of damage. The charged aspect of this is assumed to be, is making me think this ultimate's going to come late, because you don't want to use it until you've got charges, which only happen, you gain the charge right here. So you gain a charge when a non-summoned ally dies. And the nice thing about that is that you attack that person, so it's basically like a counter. So so you get these charges, and then you use your ultimate against Drain. It'd be nice if the Drain was like increased in power based on how many charges you had. And then you get to this passive. When he dies, to grant the 2 ability energy to all supernatural allies. I wish that was a higher number, honestly, because, I mean, I don't know, maybe not. Let me think about this, because Strange's ult's just, it's so weird. I mean, you need so much energy to do it, and depending when Ghost Rider dies, I suppose maybe it could go to, the 2 energy would be enough for Strange's turn to take place, then he could res him right away. I mean, that'd be nice. And then, like we already talked about, on a non-summoned ally's death, you attack that target, you get the charges, and you get some energy for self. 3 energy, which is interesting, because then you're back up here looking at more bleeds and everything. Granting more speed bar. I mean, this is all about speed bar, speed bar, speed bar. Yeah, I love this right here is like, yeah, this to me is really all you need to know for this kit. Negative effects, speed bar for supernatural allies, and then max health. So I don't know. I like it so far, but again, it depends on how exactly the speed bar manipulation works here. If it is only once, no matter how many negative effects you drop, it's kind of like, okay, they'll be whatever. If it's, you know, where you get them for each one, that's a little bit different. I think that's going to be way better. So that's pretty much it. So we got this information from the blog post / you know, the strike team video that they put out there. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly how this all shakes out. I hope you, I know this is kind of a different video than I normally put out because it's just part of my live stream. But I figured, you know what, share it. Might as well. Some of you guys might not want to, I mean, this video is pretty long and the live stream was way longer. So I tried to condense it. So I just cut a bunch of stuff out. So it might be a little choppy and not as flowy, but mainly I just wanted to see you guys, or share with you guys, you know, my initial thoughts on this. So And if you enjoyed, I hope to see you again soon. And until then, have a fantastic day.